On June 16, 2024, the Seattle Mariners swept the Texas Rangers, giving them an 8.5 game lead in the American League West. The next day, they defeated the Cleveland Guardians to extend their lead in the division by 10 games, making it the highest division lead in the. And now that lead is cut to 4.5, just above Houston, thanks to this awful road trip. Now, before I get into this and go into this huge rant I'm about to do, here's a word from our sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code ROOFTOPSPORTS to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. So yeah, the Mariners are having problems. They lost the series to Miami, and then they lost another critical series against the Tampa Bay Rays. And yes, the Mariners really just barely got out of that one, really at the skin of their teeth. And don't even get me started with that Guardians series. Don't even want to really talk about that either, because I kind of already did. Now let's get into the most obvious problem of this team. It is going to be the offense. To start off, they are now 24th in runs scored, and in batting average, they are second to dead last, just above the Chicago White Sox. Mariners are at 219, while Chicago is at 218. Now let's take a look at the core problems, shall we? Now before I do like what we have seen from the likes of Luke Raley, Josh Rojas, Dylan Moore, and Ryan Bliss. They have been contributing pretty decently. But then we've got Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, with the exception of the finale against the Tampa Bay Rays. Ty France, who's just been atrocious since he's been out of that IL, just absolutely terrible. It's almost like, why is he even playing? J.P. Crawford, it seems that he pretty much went away from that driveline workout from the 2023 offseason. To go even further, Mitch Garver, yes, he's hit some bombs, but other than that, he's been terrible. Dom Canzone has been awful, and also tragically, Mitch Haniger is just an absolute joke. Like, it's just really sad where we're at with Mitch Haniger. We really do love the guy, but man, like, he's just been more than underwhelming. Now, how do we even fix this problem? Some popular targets would be for the trades, Pete Alonso and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Pete Alonso is on his final year of his contract, but unfortunately, and yeah, it could be a good offensive help for that first base side, since Ty France is pretty much a lost cause, and the Mariners sent down Tyler Locklear, which I didn't really think made much sense, but then I guess you have to make room for the Ty France. The problem with Pete Alonso, though, he's on the final year of his contract, and his agent is Scott Boras. And of course, we know that Scott Boras is a tough agent to work with. And the Mariners are plagued with the owner, John Stanton, who probably would not even re-up him. Then the Mariners maybe have a chance for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but the thing is, General Manager Ross Atkins says that he was not looking to make any of those trades for either him or Bo Bichette, who is another target that the Mariners should try to go for, since Josh Rojas could only be used as a platoon, really, and J.P. Crawford is just bad. So we'll see how the Blue Jays are doing, because they are still sitting towards the bottom, if not the bottom, of the American League East. So maybe if they stink it up even further, maybe the Mariners can have a little shot at him. But the more logistical choices would be the likes of Jazz Chisholm, where he does have the great ability to steal bases and has a more diversified kind of offense where he doesn't necessarily rely on the home runs. And he would have some years of that club control, as he would not be a free agent up until late 2029. He does strike out a bit, but I do think that he would make a little bit of sense to take some pressure off of Julio, and he would be a great base stealing threat. And he can play some multiple positions. Then the popular option would be Luis Robert Jr. Now, last season, he put up incredible all-star numbers, but he has been injury-plagued, and there would be a huge risk to go for him, knowing that he is injury-prone, and the price tag that would have to be given up. Now, the rumors, that was the possible report, and this was released by Adam Jude of Seattle Times. This is a long time ago, pretty much an old article at this point. It included giving up Harry Ford And the second best Mariners prospect, well, that's Harry Ford, and also the most popular prospect in Felnine Celestine, who was signed out of the Dominican Republic in 2023. Now, I don't like the idea of giving up those kind of prospects, but at this point, if the Mariners really do want to be serious and go for a World Series, and knowing how good the farm system is for the Mariners right now, they are able to produce some great young talents, which they have done before, Mariners really should take the risk and see if that is possible, because I don't want to just wait on these prospects while the Mariners have a very small World Series window. It's a lot smaller than you think, because when you think of George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Cal Raleigh, they're going to be up for new contracts, and knowing the cheapness of John Stanton, if the Mariners don't win a World Series by then, this core isn't going to last forever, because one of them, if not two of them, are bound to leave, since we've seen Cal Raleigh heavily criticize the ownership, and George Kirby, he's liked a tweet that was criticizing ownership. So at this point, I think the Mariners should take that risk, and there were great points by Brian Abker and my friend Steve Silver that were talking about why the Mariners should take the risk to trade those minor league prospects.
I've never looked at any minor league player as untouchable when you're in position to win the division at the major league level.
100%. And the thing that bugs me is fans that say, well, Laz Montez is going to be Yordan Alvarez. Maybe, but then again, he also could be Jared Kelenic. How many top prospects have we seen come through this town in the last 15 years that ended up not panning out? The likelihood of success to failure when it comes to process is incredibly low. You actually get more misses than you do get hits.
And shout out to both of them. Now, I'm still going to stand the fact that I think that Felnine Celestine and Lazaro Montez should be the ones that should be held on. But I think everyone else, like Harry Ford and even Cole Young, it's all up for grabs. Let's just take the risk and make it happen. Now, the next part of the team that I am very concerned with is the bullpen, because Matt Brash has gone down because of Tommy John, and the bullpen is only 15th in the league, where Andres Munoz is literally the only best bullpen pitcher for the Mariners. We have some struggling arms like Ryan Stanek, who's very erratic. Austin Voth has been giving up some runs. And Trent Thornton, these guys cannot be relied on. If it was a Gregory Santos and a Matt Brash, if they were around, some of those guys would just be on the bottom tier of that bullpen. But one of my ideas is bringing back Eric Swanson, where he is in AAA still to this day. And maybe the Mariners, they'll just have to wait until the Blue Jays just get rid of him by the DFA and the Mariners can just pick him up. Or maybe the Mariners don't have to give up so much to get Eric Swanson. And we really should get Eric Swanson, because I didn't like the fact that the Mariners got rid of Eric Swanson to get Teoscar Hernandez. Now, don't get me wrong. He's absolutely amazing with the Dodgers. But that did come at the cost of the bullpen. But Eric Swanson, if he's not doing too well in Toronto, then let's bring him back home where he belongs and help the Mariners win a World Series. Now, some other guys that may have been in consideration, Michael Kopech, Austin Adams, and Tanner Scott. But until then, I don't know if the Mariners would make those kind of moves to get the bullpen. But either way, they got to figure it out to make something happen to fix this team. Because with this bullpen right now, I don't trust them in the playoffs one bit. Now, for starting pitching, man, I am absolutely concerned, because Brian Wu just went on the IL. And the other thing that makes me really upset is that the Mariners traded away Dallas Keuchel to the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, the good news is he recently, on his first start, defeated the Texas Rangers. But when Mariners were letting Emerson Hancock pitch and Jonathan Diaz pitch, I'm still confused why the Mariners didn't even let Dallas Keuchel get a shot. I was thinking we should just give him one game and see what he can do, but not waste on Jonathan Diaz, since he is still developing his game in the minor leagues. But why not get a former Cy Young winner and someone that has competed with Houston, that has experience in the division of the American League West? But no, of course they wouldn't do it, so they just gave him away for cash. But things that the Mariners should consider is looking to see what they can do with that fifth starter. Do they put in Emerson Hancock as their fifth starter? That's probably their best option right now if they did stand pat, because I think Brian Wu for the long term, honestly, with that injury concern he does have and that lack of longevity since he can barely crack 60 pitches, I would probably just put him in the bullpen and see what he can do with that. And that would just strengthen the bullpen depth by putting in Emerson Hancock as number 5, because there are a lot of teams that would love to have Emerson Hancock as the 5th starter. It's not like he's bad or anything. He's not great, but he's someone that you can rely on as that number 5 option. And usually in the playoffs, they don't usually go to the number 5 option anyway. So let's take a look and see if maybe the Mariners give another chance for Emerson Hancock to see what he can do. But aside from that, got to fix the offense, got to fix the bullpen, and got to find a way to get that 5th starter, because like Bryce Miller, I see him as a 5th starter of the future, so maybe do something with Bryce Miller and Emerson Hancock. They're going to have to be the 4 and 5s for now, but if the Mariners can find a way to get a trade, or maybe if they kept Dallas Keuchel, then they can compete a little bit better for the World Series. But that's going to do it for me. I was going to do this as a edited form video, but because of the whole don't quit your day job and just the fact that editing is just exhausting, and I know I should be doing a lot better about that because you guys do like my edited form content, and the numbers definitely do prove it. But that's going to be it. Thank you very much for this quick show. I feel like I had to do one because I was definitely due for a Mariners update since I've been so focused with NBA and other content. But thank you very much for watching, and go Mariners.